Welcome to Light and Message, a religious research YouTube channel. This video on identity of Allah, God. Get to know Allah. It's an effort to know who is Allah, His existence, and what are His characteristics. Research questionnaire. From this video, we will know about Allah's attributes, characteristics, powers, based on review, analysis, and research in 41 verses in 28 surahs of Al-Quran. Who is Allah? Who is Rabb? Who is God? Who is ILAH? Who is the Creator? Is Allah, Rabb, ILAH, God the same entity? The identity of Allah, attributes of Allah, some praised names of Allah, the power of Allah, the ability of Allah. Who is Allah? What is His identity? Lord of the heavens is Allah. Allah is the master of the earth. Allah is the master of the skies. Everything in creation belongs to Allah. All creation, all knowledge, power belongs to Allah Ta'ala. Allah is the one, the unique. He has no partner. Allah is the only one Ilah. Allah is the only one God. Allah is the only one Rabb. Allah is the only one Lord. His being, qualities, dignity are all incomparable to anyone else. Allah is the only one who deserves worship and obedience. He, Allah, is the creator, sustainer, ruler, giver of life, giver of death. Absolute sovereignty of this world and the next belongs to Him. He is the owner of all visible things. He is the owner of all invisible things also. The great scripture, the perfect heavenly book, Al-Quran. In many places and in verses in Quran, Allah Ta'ala has described His various aspects, His existence, His characteristics in different ways. Other heavenly books known to man, Tawrat, Jabur, Injil, also mention the identity of the only one God, the only one Creator, the only one Lord, the only one Ilah, as well as the only one Allah. All are the different names of same being. It's absolutely necessary to know about Allah Ta'ala, about the creations of Allah to make the path of this life easy and smooth, to get success in the next life. It is mentioned in verse 1 to 3 of Surah Al-Fatiha of the Holy Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, who is the most merciful, the most gracious, who owns the day of judgment. Indeed, it's He who created the universe. He is managing everything in the universe. He, Allah, who is the most merciful, the most kind, the only one who belongs all praise. We can know about the identity and characteristics of Almighty Allah in Surah ILAH, verse 1 to 4 of Quranul Majid. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allah is the one and unique. Allahu samad. Allah is eternal, absolute. Lam yalid walam yulad. He gave birth to no one, not born from anyone. Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. No one is his equal. Many of us are alike. It may be in the appearance, it may be in the structure, in the work, in the way of leading life. But Allah Almighty is the only one. There is no one like Him, nothing like Him. We all are dependent on some way, dependent on food, for water, for fortune, for sustenance. But Almighty Allah is not dependent on anyone or anything. Allah is not expectant on anyone or anything. We all, animals, plants, hills, mountains, planets, stars, are expectant on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every animal, human, bird, organism, plant has no proliferate to be born. Everything is created. But Almighty Allah Rabbul Alamin did not give birth to anyone, nor was he born from anyone. Humans have human counterparts. An animal has an equivalent of more animals. An object has more objects equivalent to it. But no one or nothing is equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's in verse 23 of Surah Hashur of the Holy Quran. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illahu wal malikul quddusus salamul mu'minul muhaiminul azizul jabbarul mutakabbir subhanallahi amma yushrikun. He is Allah, there is no ilah but Allah, there is no God but Him. He is the ruler, He is the holy, He is the peaceful, He is the guardian of faith, He is the preserver of safety, the protector, the almighty, the most glorious. Allah is the most holy than whom they shirkar associate with. In verse 2, Surah Hadid, Lahu mulkus samawati wal ardi yuhyi wa yumitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. He, Allah, possesses the kingdom of the skies and the earths. He, Allah, is the giver of life, and He, Allah, causes death, and He, Allah, has power over everything. The king of a country can be any man, the king of a region can be any man, but Allah is the ruler of the all region. The one who gives life, the one who gives death, the one who has power over everything is no one but Allah. Who can be the Almighty other than Allah? And therefore everything belongs to Allah alone. In Surah Rum, verse 27, وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ وَهُوَ أَهْوَنُ عَلَيْهِ. And it is He, Allah, who initiates creation, then repeat it. And it is very easy to Him. There can be no equal to the one who initiates the entire creation. So Allah is the creator of all creation. It is mentioned in verse 84 of Surah Zukhruf. وَهُوَ الَّذِي فِي السَّمَاءِ إِلَهٌ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَهٌ وَهُوَ الْحَكِيمُ الْعَلِيمُ. And it is He, Allah, who is in the skies as Ilah and is in the earth as Ilah also. And He is full of wisdom and knowledge. Who has the power over dwell in the skies and the earth but Allah Almighty? It is mentioned in verse 3 of Surah Mulk. الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا. He, Allah, who created the seven skies, one above another. Is it even possible for humans to create a point that wander in the sky far away? Is it possible for any other organism? Impossible. Allah alone is the creator of everything, including seven skies. Mentioned in verse 73, Surah Al-An'am, Al-Quran. وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ وَيَوْمَ يَقُولُ كُنْ فَيَكُونُ. It is He, Allah, who has created truly the skies and the earths, and when He says, be, it is. Who else has such absolute power except Lord Allah Ta'ala? No one. It is mentioned in verse 7 of Surah Ad-Dukhan. رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا إِن كُنتُم مُّوقِنِينَ. Allah, who is the Lord of the skies and the earths and everything between them, if you are firm believers. The Quran must be believed. If you believe in the Quran, if you believe in the heavenly books, you must believe in the unseen things mentioned in the Quran. The main basis of this faith is to believe in Allah Ta'ala, the only Lord, the only God of the skies, the earth, and everything in between. It is mentioned in verse 3 of Surah Al-An'am. وَهُوَ اللَّهُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ يَعْلَمُ سِرَّكُمْ وَجَهْرَكُمْ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُونَ. And He is Allah in the skies and the earths. He knows all your secret and disclosed affair, and He knows what you achieve also. Is it possible for any person to know my thoughts, secret matters? A lie detector device or a super sensor connected to a computer may be able to tell if someone is just lying or hiding something, but it is not possible to know what is being hidden or what is being thought about. But Almighty Allah, God, knows our disclosed affair. He also knows the secret of the mind. And this is why Allah holds supreme wisdom and absolute power. It is mentioned in verse 6 Surah Toha. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ardi wa ma bainahuma wa ma tahta thara. Whatever is in the skies and the earths and the space between them belongs to Him, Allah. It is mentioned in verse 65 of Surah Maryam. Rabbus samawati wal ardi wa ma bainahuma fa'buduhu wastabiro li ibadatihi hal ta'lamu lahu samiyya. He is Allah, who is the Lord of the skies, the earths, and all that in between them. So worship Him and be patient to His worship. Do you know His equal? Almighty Allah has put the question through this surah. Do you know anyone or anything equal to Him, Allah? If there were more gods besides Allah, there would be competition between them. Maybe there was war. Other gods tried to change what Allah had created. But who else but Allah can stop the change of the day and night, planets, can allow the satellites to move in the natural pattern? In Surah An-Nahl, verse 51. وقال الله لا تتخذوا إلهين اثنين إنما هو إله واحد فإياي فارهبون. Allah says, do not accept two ilah, God. Indeed, He is just one ilah, so fear only me, Allah. In verse 30 of Surah Luqman, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقُّ وَأَنَّ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ الْبَاطِلُ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْكَبِيرُ. This is because Allah is the truth, and all that their disbelievers call other than Him, Allah, is falsehood. And this is also because Allah is the Most High, the Greatest. Who is in the highest position? Allah Ta'ala. Planets, stars, constellations, comets, seven skies, heaven, hell, then water, Lawh Mahfuz, Kursi, Sidratul Muntaha, Arsh, then the highest, magnificent Allah Ta'ala. So who is in the highest? Who is the greatest? Only Allah Ta'ala is the greatest, the most high, the most outstanding. In verse 26 of Surah Namal, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa Rabbul Arshil Azim. Allah, there is no ilah but Him. He is the Lord of the great throne, Arsh. In Surah Muminun, verse 86, Qul mar Rabbus Samawatis Sab'i wa Rabbul Arshil Azim. Ask, who is the Lord of seven skies and the great throne, Arsh? In Surah Al-Imran, verse 189. Walillahi mulkus samawati wal ardi wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. The sovereign power of the skies and the earths belongs to Allah alone. Allah is the omnipotent, supreme in all matters. In Surah Al-Fatah, verse 14. Walillahi mulkus samawati wal ardi yaghfiru liman yasha'u wa yu'azzibu man yasha'u wa kana Allahu ghafurur rahima. Supreme authority of the skies and the earths belongs to Allah. He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills. He is the most forgiver and most merciful. In Surah An-Nur, verse 42, وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ الْمَصِيرُ. The sovereignty of the skies and the earths belongs to Allah, and all and everything must return to Allah. In verse 66 of Surah Yunus, Ala inna lillahi man fis samawati wa man fil ard. Be careful, indeed, whoever is in the skies and the earths belongs to Allah. Mentioned in verse 17, Surah Ma'idah, verse 189, Surah Al-Imran, verse 27, Surah Al-Ghashiyah, verse 14, Surah Al-Fatah, verse 42, Surah An-Nur, verse 49, Surah Ash-Shura. Lillahi mulkus samawati wal ardi. The sovereignty of the skies and the earths belongs to Allah. Verse 52 of Surah An-Nahl, verse 24 of Surah Al-Hashr. Lahu ma fis samawati wal ard. Whatever is in the skies and on the earths belongs to Him, Allah. In verse 284 of Surah Baqarah, verse 126, 131 of Surah An-Nisa, verse 31 of Surah An-Najm, verse 109, 129 of Surah Al-Imran, Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. All is in the skies and on the earths belongs to Allah. In verses 2, 5 of Surah Al-Hadid, verse 107 of Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 40 of Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 116 of Surah At-Tawbah, verse 2 of Surah Furqan. Lahu mulkus samawati wal ard. Dominion over the skies and the earths belongs to Him, Allah. In Al-Quran, from these mentioned verses, we can know about Allah is the sole sovereign of the heavens and the earths. Allah Ta'ala is the only creator, the only owner of everything in the heavens and the earths. We find the nature, qualities, attributes of Almighty Allah in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255, Ayatul Kursi. Allahu la ilaha illahu wal hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no ilah except Him. He is eternal and sustainer of everything. La ta'khudhuhu sinatu wa la naum. Drowsiness and sleep cannot touch Him. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. All that is in the skies and on the earths belongs to Him. Man dhalladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnih. Who is able to mediate with Him without His permission? Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum. He, Allah, knows everything that is before or behind. وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. And it's not possible to contain the limits of His knowledge except that as much as He wills. وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And His throne, earth, encompasses the skies and the earths. وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا. And maintaining them doesn't tire Him. وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. And He, Allah, is the Most High and the Supreme. Surah Al-Isra, verse 44. Tusabbihu lahu samawatu sab'u wal ardu wa man fihinna wa im min shay'in illa yusabbihu bihamdihi walakin la tafqahuna tasbihahum innahu kana haliman ghafura. The skies, the earths, and everything within them proclaim His holiness and glory, and there is nothing that doesn't proclaim His praise, holiness, and glory. But you cannot understand their declaration of holiness and declaration of glory. Surely He is forgiving, merciful. In Surah An-Najm, verse 31, وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. لِيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسَاءُوا بِمَا عَمِلُوا وَيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا بِالْحُسْنَى. Everything in the skies and on the earth belongs to Allah. He gives bad results to those who do evil and good reward to those who do good with the best. By reviewing the verses mentioned in Al-Quran, we find the characteristics and qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the only God, the only Rabb, the only Ilah, the only Pratipalak, the only Creator. He who is Allah is the only God. Allah Almighty is the only Creator of all things. Allah did not give birth to anyone, nor was He born from anyone. There is no one or nothing equal to Allah. Only Allah has power over all things. Allah, the greatest, is the protector of all things. The kingdom of the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah, the Almighty. It is Allah alone who gives life and causes death. Allah is the one who started the creation and will repeat it. Allah, the only Almighty, exists at the same time in both, in the skies and on the earth. It is Allah who created the skies layer by layer and the earth. Almighty Allah alone maintains the balance of planets, satellites, moon, sun, galaxies. He, Allah, doesn't face any difficulties to do this. Allah, the all-knowing, knows, sees, hears everything hidden and revealed. Only Allah is the Lord of the great throne, Arsh. The sovereignty of the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah alone. Allah alone is the supreme ruler of the heavens and the earth. All that is in the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah alone. Allah is forgiving. Allah, God, is the most merciful, most kind. Allah is the Lord of the resurrection, the Lord of the day of judgment. We must go back to Allah. No slumber and sleep cannot touch Allah, the eternal sustainer of all things. Allah alone has power that when He wills to do something, He just says be, and it is done. No one but Allah, God, is everlasting, endless. We who believe in the books of Allah, believe in the unseen Ghaib, they easily believe in Allah alone, who is Rabb, who is Ilah, who is God. Those who do not believe in this or who have a little doubt in their faith, think a little deeply, review these verses a little deeply. The only Creator Allah, He is the only God, He is the only Rabb, He is the only Ilah. So we should worship Allah alone. Thanks for patience hearing. Request to subscribe the channel and look at the next.